Oh, it's a sound test, is it? Oh, I don't know.
You're live, we're talking to him.
Cool.
We'll find out soon enough, won't we?
Well, the indicator's up.
And people start screaming, "Oh my god, this live!" and we can actually hear you, and that'll be rare for us because
Yeah.
it's the second time ever actually we get it right first time.
So, tell us if you can hear us.
Obviously, I'll have to have a look.
Mm-hmm. Yay, stream. Can you hear us?
Hey.
Hello? Yay,
Yeah.
you can hear us.
People can hear. That's good.
Awesome.
Positive.
Hello. So, it's just the two of us today, Mod Ash, Mod Reach. Mod Matt K is very sorry he couldn't join us this time. He's not been feeling very well, and probably best to leave him to it.
And he's just leaving the room coughing as we speak.
Yeah. We thought that if we sat here all evening with him blowing his nose at you, you might not want to watch the stream very much. Although, personally, I'd be up for that.
Okay.
Yep. Anyway, so what have we got? No, Trivia Bot is still going.
So we have a kind of new layout today. We're not used to being usually over there. So
They've moved the decoration.
It's not that much of a problem. It's just obviously now the screen we need to look at is over there, and it's kind of in a different way. So
yeah,
trivial shit.
So Solus Delega wants a 10-second timer to be added to the safe zones in PvP worlds so that it isn't so easy for people to escape when you're fighting them. I've got to admit, the reason we left that out was to sort of simplify the rules about engagement in PvP worlds. At the moment, on a PvP world, if A can attack B, B can attack A. There's no situation where I can attack B and he can retaliate, but only if I hit him first, because that's really kind of conceptually awkward, and it ended up being a little abusable before, I think. So we've gone with a rather simpler version where if they escape, they escaped. You do, of course, have your bind, stare, and entangle spells and your teleblock spell to try and keep people in place while you're killing them. But for now, we don't have that. The next thing that's due to come to PvP worlds is the high risk world, which we polled in number 13. That hasn't come yet because we've been talking to the engine guys about whether we can give you some kind of warning before you log in for worlds that have something special about them. At the moment, if you click on a world and log into it, then you're in, and even while you're reading the interface that says how much membership you've got left, shows you message of the week, you're already in the world and attackable at that point. What we'd like is for you to be able to have a little pop-up, say, this is a PvP world, are you sure? Or this is a high-risk world, are you sure? Before you do the logging in. I don't know whether the engine guys are going to be able to give us that anytime soon, but it would be really nice, and I'd like to get it before we do high-risk worlds if possible. If it's going to be a big deal for them, then we'll go ahead with high-risk worlds like we did with PvP worlds, but it would be preferable if we could get it first. And I'm glad you like my t-shirt, PK Buzzard.
We actually have an entire box of those on the spare desk next to Matt K. I think we were selling them at RuneFest, and this is the remainder. But
yeah,
we might be able to get them on the store, I guess. We might have to poke marketing to sort it out. But
also, it's kind of blurry if you look up close, although you don't want to do that.
Looks fine to me. But
so, RS Luke wants to know if we're opening up any more positions.
Yes, I actually saw somebody's question about that a minute ago. Somebody asked how the hunt for a junior artist was going. In truth, we have absolutely no idea how the hunt for a junior artist is going because none of us are really graphically trained or competent, as it were. So we're not the ones recruiting for the graphics position. That's being dealt with by the head of graphics. So as far as that goes, no idea. As for the QA tester, we started doing interviews with the people that we selected this week. We had 3 yesterday, 2 today, and we have 1 tomorrow. So that's Matt K and I running those. And obviously we'll grab Ash in on the face-to-face interviews later. So the hunt for a QA test is going okay. As for the graphics artist, I've not got a clue.
One of the things there is that they've started advertising for it officially on the Jagex website without us necessarily realising. So we haven't tried advertising it ourselves. Tomorrow, Matt's going to put up a big splashy thing on oldschool.runescape.com so that it's advertised to our community properly, rather than just people who've heard about it from our Twitter feeds or from this, or from each other. I gather Dan heard about it from Skype.
Yeah.
I heard about it from Dan's Twitter and retweeted him. That's currently how it's being advertised. Matt's going to do something a bit more splashy tomorrow.
Arsenero says, are there any old school apprenticeships going? I know the Jagex does runs a university scheme, but as far as apprenticeships go, we only really offer full-time employment. So I don't really think that's anything that we can sort out. To be honest, we'd only look to hire somebody who could work, full-time hours, 5 days a week. So
Yeah, at the moment we're a fairly small team. If we're going to dedicate the time and trouble to train somebody up, we want them long term, really, and we want them there 39.5 hours per working week if we can get it. So we're kind of looking, and we can get enough applicants as well to find that sort of person. So we're not really looking for an apprentice at the moment.
the junior artist position, I guess, is a bit more of a unique position in being that anybody can really QA. It just takes the right mindset, it just takes the right player, and takes obviously the right old school member to sort of go ahead and do it. Having somebody who's very very graphically, experienced, as it was, is something that's going to be a little harder to find. There's a few people out there that are absolutely fantastic, like Mr. Crow, who's currently watching the stream. Unfortunately, Mr. Crow resides in a country where it would be very difficult for us to bring somebody outside the EU into.
That sounds really dodgy the way you put it.
It does, but
covers the whole world apart from
yeah.
the European Union, sadly.
But so there are obviously a lot of legal process to go through for that. But there is, the applications out there. People can obviously let us know, and I guess we'll be hearing about it from the art manager. I don't think they'll be hiring somebody that wouldn't be able to fit in with our team. So,
well, the art manager knows that he can assess an artist, but he can't assess an old school RuneScape enthusiast. That's something he's going to look to us to do, and we'll be delighted to do it. Dan's had a lot of fun doing that with the telephone interviews for the QA tester.
Yes. So, unfortunately, there's no apprenticeships going, and we don't really know the status of anybody coming through the art position just yet. So, I guess we'll let you know when we know, and we don't know when we're going to know. So, it's a waiting game for both of us.
It would be certainly into the new year before anybody were hired and put to work anyway, so we'll get there. So the Jebroom wants to know if we can have extra clicks when jumping on the stalls at the Ardoin courses so it doesn't feel so AFK.
I actually intentionally didn't do that. I made the Ardoin course, and I just had it do it automatically for you because I felt that the final part of the course was just, rather small. We didn't really need you to do the extra clicking. The rest of the course, obviously, you need to click around, you need to run, you need to jump, and the rest of the courses. But those particular stalls, I didn't really see the need for it. Obviously, if a lot of people feel otherwise, I'm more than happy to change it, put clicks in. That's not a problem. But if you feel strongly against it, post it on the forums, let us know, and I'll address it later.
Yeah, totally. As with anything, we would always come back and tweak it afterwards. The Lost Magic wants to know about the marks of grace and whether they despawn if you don't pick them up, or what they do after that. The answer is when one is spawned, it's spawned for you and you alone. No one else can see it. And it'll sit there for 10 minutes. That's, well, more than enough time to go around the course a few times, so you've got a good chance of spotting it and getting to it, even if you do fail the obstacle. And you shouldn't be failing the obstacles more than, 1 in 5 times or thereabouts, at worst. So, yeah, you've got 10 minutes. It's possible that another one will spawn during that 10 minutes and you'll have 2 to find. You won't know until you explore. No one else can pick up the marks. They're spawned just for you.
Revealed actually said, what's one of the first things you're going to be working on with Slayer? I guess that would be the Slayer point system. I guess would be the very first thing we'd work on, because obviously that's the most important thing to most people. Being able to get that done and out of the way means we can probably look to give it to you first. Obviously, if you have that first, you can then build up a good amount of points. When we give you the rest of the Slayer update, you actually have something to do with the points you've earned. You don't have to earn the points and then wait a long time to access new content. You can really build them up.
Plus, it looked really, really stupid if we gave you a whole load of things to exchange points for, but didn't let you earn any points for another few weeks.
So that's something I look to start tomorrow, actually. As of tomorrow, we shall officially be moving over to Slayer, obviously and Christmas. I was obviously taking on board the feedback from rooftop agility courses, should there be any, and should people feel strongly enough about it, we'll also do that at the same time.
Got a few no-clip things to deal with, and a floating bit of wall in Canifis. We should get rid of that.
Yeah, that's actually my fault. Unfortunately, the map editor, that piece of wall is from Evil Dave's underground something or other.
Yeah, his basement where he lives.
Unfortunately, the config name for it starts with 100, which means it appears at the very top of the list because alphabetically numbers come first. And obviously, when you're on the map editor, in order to make the map active, you have to click the map, and in doing so, places down the location, and I just forgot to remove it. So we'll address that one with with the next update. I think actually in the Arduino course when I was showing them off originally, you noticed there was a man wandering around top of top of a market store. That was the same problem, and I forgot to remove him. And obviously he's not there anymore. I removed him. In this instance, I just forgot to remove this wall. So there's a stray bit of wall in Canifis which shouldn't be there, which I shall remove.
I got 7 of that man standing on the tightrope in Falador, and only took them out this morning. A last minute fix to the tightrope there.
So it's a very easy mistake to make. You just have to know you've done it in order to realise that you have to get rid of it. So.
RS Nasty wanted the Squeal of Fortune. No.
That's that one.
Can we get a better colour for the Graceful? Question from Killers455. We've kind of tried to go for something that looks a bit like it's out of Assassin's Creed. You know, the pale robes, the cowl over your face slightly, which we took from the Han Cult's costume, only we didn't make it pink. That's the look we've been going with. It's a fairly distinctive colour because there aren't that many outfits that make you look like that in game. And there's been quite a few people like it. So just for the moment, we're not really looking to do anything elaborate with that. We've got an artist joining the team in due course. They will probably have a lot of stuff to do. For a start, we want a Slayer helmet, although we've got other ways of getting that, I think. People will always have requests for them. And there's a few animations on the agility courses we'd like them to help us tidy a bit. But they would be able to tweak the costume if there was something that a lot of people wanted done. Okay.
When will Dragon Claws be released? By Stomp You Out. I shall stomp out the possibility of Dragon Claws.
Maybe we'll put them on the Squid of Fortune.
You can see where that's going.
Yeah. Any plans to release the Chaos Dwarf Battlefield? Question from Ajax5. We haven't got any actual plans to do that, but we do have Chaos Dwarf models. We can make battlefields, and we can put other dwarves in there as well. Bear in mind that sticking in the Chaos Dwarf Battlefield with no Red Axe storyline might be a bit weird.
We can always give them the Dragon Pickaxe as well. A lot of people want that.
Yep.
So that's a way of introducing the Dragon Picks again. I guess it's consistent with how it was originally. So it's been a lot of call for that.
Yeah. I don't want to have us go with lore that's different to what RS3's got. This is, after all, still RuneScape, but we don't have to flesh out all the storylines in detail. Okay, Mini Finbar wants to know if we're going to overhaul the task lists from the Slayer Masters with the Slayer update. I wasn't looking for us to do any substantial changes, but there will be opportunities to improve a few things. Like, in the other RuneScape, you can spend points to persuade one Slayer Master to start assigning Aquanites, in that case. We can also let you spend points to unlock additional things from the existing Slayer Masters. And we will definitely be letting you persuade the Slayer Masters to assign bigger tasks of certain things. Dark Beasts is one of the most common requests. I think Black Demons is on there as well.
Black Demons would be nice. Maybe what's the green things called in the Slayer Tower? I can't remember their name. That's the ones. I've seen somebody mention those somewhere along the lines. But
yeah, I can see a use for that, especially if we have a dungeon where you can only fight the monsters if they're on task.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be letting you demand bigger tasks so that it's a bit more worth your while going there.
RS Rick said, what about the Jad task?
Ooh, the Slayer challenges. Nothing stopping us. It's a bit of a fiddly piece of code, but we could.
Yeah, I think there was that one where you could upgrade your Tazar creatures to do the fight caves and get an extra reward for doing Jad. I don't think we polled that one, but obviously that can come later on if people really, really feel strongly about it. So
yeah, we're not going anywhere, and if you keep wanting Slayer updates, you can keep asking for them.
Dinosaur RS said push. I think I said push resting to old school. This is something we bring up quite a lot. Resting, we don't have an emote for it.
Well, it's been suggested a few things we could try and reuse, like make a chair appear out of nowhere and use the player and house graphics, or use the one that appears when you milk a cow. A stool appears out of nowhere and you squat on it. It might look really stupid.
Yes, at the moment, we also don't have energy. Energy is controlled by the engine as well, so we're not really in a position to modify and play around with that.
Yeah, the rate at which energy restores is built into the engine. In about 2009, they updated the engine to let content developers edit it dynamically. And that's what Mod Chihiro used when he did the resting update back then. we don't have that update. We can ask for it, but there's other things we'd like to get from the engine team first. Might be some good news coming there.
Yes, that will be. I should be showing some good news from the engine team off in a minute, actually, or not. If not in a minute, later on in the stream. So.
Now, Lord Doctor 1 wants to know if we're going to implement the Shooting Star D&D. I've actually held back from doing D&Ds. They are, at least in my mind, something that is very strongly associated with the last 2 years of what became RuneScape 3, and not so old school in feel. And I don't really want to turn your free-form gaming experience into an endless list of now I must tick off this task for the day, and then this task for the day, then this task for the day. That said, I'm willing to be persuaded otherwise, and I believe the Shooting Star is the kind of thing we could recreate. Wouldn't look quite the same, but we can find rocks, big ones, and make them get smaller. We can do that.
I was going to ask this, what about a new God Sword? Kind of have to think of, about to say, we kind of have to think of a way of introducing that.
Well, if we did a Zaros one and didn't have necks, it might be a bit of a letdown.
Yeah. I suppose there's something to think about with a new boss, possibly. New bosses, people like the idea. That's probably bound to come up in the stream anyway.
Okay, somebody asked, sorry I didn't see your name, can we have the old rock graphics? Ugh. Popular one, that. I've been looking through the archive trying to find out for the life of me which model it was that was used to make the pillar thing in the middle of the rock, which the statue sat on in the fountain. I cannot find it. If I can ever find that, then we can at least give you the fountain. I'm not looking for us to remap the whole of the rock, though. Firstly, that's a huge amount of work for no gameplay benefit. Secondly, we just put an agility course on top of it, and I don't want to go there again ever, because it's difficult, putting it politely.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're not likely to offer ever to remap the whole of a city like that. But if we could do the fountain, yeah, we'd offer that. Swede Badass wants to know if we can have some kind of EP system. Now, PvP worlds, we know they need more rewards than they've got, as in they need some rewards. The question about the EP system, though, is people just sat there farming it in relative safety for yonks, and then came away loaded with statuettes and valuable stuff, and made bank like that, without actually doing any proper PKing. We would prefer not to make something quite so obviously exploitable, and we certainly don't want to spaff money into the game the way statuettes did. That said, we agree that one day we are going to have to add something. I've been bouncing around this idea about how if you PK somebody and they've got a whip, say, then there's a chance that the whip would drop in an upgraded form that's temporarily imbued with better stats, and that degrades down and eventually decays to nothing. The idea being that for a while you've got something better, maybe you can sell it, maybe you can't, or maybe you'll just use it yourself. And that also takes the whip out of the game, which will help keep the value of these Slayer tasks that people are doing to get them. It's just a thought. There's a lot more padding out needed before we can make it worthy for a poll. But I think we might be able to get something useful there, partly for the item sync, partly to give you something unique to PvP worlds, and partly to give you something that doesn't involve bringing in Vestas, Morrigans, Statuses, etc. Because they didn't go down too well when we blogged about them before. Okay. We're looking at the screen with all your questions coming up, by the way. It's not like there's anything interesting over there to just distract us. Minigame that lets us kill ransoms like Molly. I think you like talking about random events.
Oh, God. I hate random events. I hate them as much as everybody else does. I was glad to see them back. That nostalgia lasted maybe all of 10 minutes.
And that was the time you spent trying to do the Evil Twin event.
Probably. Removing random events is like one of those game-changing updates that everybody would have to agree on mutually. So would have to poll something like that. So if people were genuinely really strong in the belief that we need to get rid of them, post it on the forums, get the discussion going, see what other people would think, and we'll take that feedback on board and possibly in the future offer it as a poll if that many people are strong about the idea. I would like to get rid of random events. I think they serve no purpose. They're more of a hindrance to legit players than they are a hindrance to those that they're designed to stop. But no, I don't like randoms. You don't like randoms. We mutually agree there. So they are a pain in the arse.
Yeah. Now, Arcantosan is asking, can we have the hit points, run energy, etc. prayers displayed in little globes by the minimap? Controversial on that one. There's a lot of people who don't want to see them. There's a lot of people who find them useful. So what we do if we poll them, and I think we will poll them, is offer them with a toggle so that if you don't want to see them, you turn them off and they're gone. But if you do want them, there they are. It's going to be a bit of a challenge to try and build them in neatly into the game frame. We're not pixel artists. In fact, somebody tweeted me a rather nice version of how it could be done, and I might nick it. So it might not end up being in round globes, but I don't think it's the shape of the globe that you were most attracted to. On the other hand, for some people, that kind of update was ruining the game that the old game that you loved. So I'd understand if there's some people want to vote no on that, but hopefully by making it toggleable, it'll get past most of the complaints of people who don't want to see it. Okay.
I just saw a nice question, but I completely forgot the name of it. At the same time I was trying to remember the name, I also forgot the question. So
Okay.
I'm sure we'll see it again. So
Sweet Badass, who I think has been tweeting me, asks if we can repoll Brawler Gloves. The good news there is that we never polled them in the first place, so we can't repoll them unless they first get polled. The reason we didn't poll them in the first place, though, is that when we put up a blog saying, hey, let's do PvP worlds and have Brawler Gloves as the rewards, there was a lot of people turns up saying, don't do that, that ruined the game, we don't want it. In fact, there was so much that it was starting to look like PvP worlds themselves wouldn't pass the poll due to how unpopular these optional extras would be. So rather than offer them and have them drag the poll down for PvP worlds, we took them off altogether and gave you PvP worlds in a sort of virgin state. That means we can come back and poll Brawler Gloves in future if we thought they'd pass. But given the level of, hate towards them, and the sheer number of people who felt that XP multipliers make the game too easy to get yourself to 99, and that's not the old school feel, I think we might want to look at different rewards instead. I've talked about one of the ideas I'd had. I'm happy to take more ideas on. Lots of them, please. Keep posting on the forums and keep letting us know what you've got in mind.
Lord Doctor One says, can we have a world specifically for randoms to occur? I don't see why that would be necessary. I guess we can, but I don't see why we'd want that, because that would probably be the most unpopular world there is.
If we can get something that shunts you from one world to another, like you just disconnect for a moment and reconnect and hopefully don't realise you switched worlds, we could totally have some fun by moving people to that world unexpectedly.
That's true.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's gone. Supposed to be... wants to know if Dragon Defenders will be released. Sorry, I don't imagine that's your actual name, but... Well, we could. If we took the graphic for an existing Defender and recoloured it red, that is Dragon Defender. Just a matter of deciding, do you want it, and if so, do you want it to come in any special way with special requirements, or just another thing to grind on Cyclopes for? We could. Okay. High Risk Wilderness Worlds, a question from OATube. I've addressed that earlier. The answer is yes, they will be done, because we polled it, we promised, and we will deliver. We could do it straight away. We wanted to get the agility courses finished before we went delving into that again, but now that's out of the way, we can take it on. What I was saying is, when you get into a high-risk world, it would be nice if you could have a warning, preferably even before login. Now, at the moment, we don't have the support to do login warnings before you log in. The first time we get to run any code on you at all is when you're looking at the Message of the Week screen. And when you're looking at that, you're already logged in, sitting in game, and it's a bit too late to log out again if you didn't like it. So we were talking today to the engine guys to see whether they'd be able to give us a pre-login warning message, which we'd use for high-risk worlds and also for the PvP worlds themselves. We hope they can do it. If they can, we'll try and get that and do the high-risk worlds with it. If it's going to be a big ask, big wait, going to be waiting for months, then we'll just push ahead and do high-risk worlds. And but that will require you guys to take responsibility yourselves for making sure you only log into them if you want them. Now, that's not something that people necessarily got with PvP worlds. Not such an issue with high-risk worlds, but I'd still rather we could get it first if possible. So we're going to see how that pans out first.
Telkine says, can we get an extra fruit-free patch in Latea or
Yes.
Leccia? Yes, we would love a fruit-free patch there.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yes.
Someone had a nice idea on the forums after the update today about putting more farming patches on rooftops, so that there's an agility requirement to get to them. I can see that really trolling people who are used to being able to get to Lecture and have it without an agility check. Although getting to Lecture's got a pretty nasty agility check on it in the first place, like the 56, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, but Lecture seems as good a place as any. It's a shame we can't have that tall leprechaun dude. Teclin, the elf who looks like a leprechaun, dresses like a leprechaun, but is most definitely not a leprechaun, and is very surprised that people think he is. Anyway, that wasn't the important bit.
Lance Uppercut says, are we still getting the Black Santa hat for Old School? I think Matt changed his original plan on that, so we did devlog the anti-Santa, which I still believe we're doing, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, possibly. I don't really know. This is Matt's CM sort of plans. This is his strategy that we're not really... He tells us what we want, we make it.
I believe
Matt
what he
changes
wants
his mind.
there is to be able to transmog himself into the anti-Santa and run around the wilderness with you lot killing him. However, if we made that the way to get a rare item like a Black Santa hat, I think it would be a little restrictive because not everyone can get to, the wilderness at the right time when there's a JMod running around it, and a heck of a lot of people wouldn't want to. So we probably wouldn't want to give a Black Santa hat in that way.
Straw Poll says, can you repoll God Wars pets? Well, first we need to find out why they failed. We've identified that there was a lot of confusion about, RS3 players voting no to it because they wanted them. There was a lot of people saying that people didn't understand what they meant. So we need to identify that, and we looked into it, and we actually found out that the majority of the people that voted no were actually hardcore old school players. So obviously we need to look at why hardcore players voted no to that if we want to repoll it. We did look into it a little bit, and there was a lot of confusion with people assuming that the drop themselves would replace an existing drop. So obviously you'd expect to get maybe a Hilton instead. You got the egg, in which case that's not true. The idea actually was that you'd get both at the same time. Maybe I didn't stress that when I explained it to him. That's my fault. There was also some people that were worried about them being too common and spamming up banks. Obviously, again, they were supposed to be ultra rare, so seeing 1 is a good thing. Seeing 2 is very rare. Seeing 3, we probably got a bug because they shouldn't be that common.
Yeah.
So, that's something we need to address, and we look to address later on in development. But I don't think we're going to repoll them so soon after doing it already. We're going to, leave a little bit before putting them back. So, if anybody has any other concerns, please do let us know so we make sure we address those early.
Okay, question from I couldn't think of a funny name. I love your name, by the way. Wants to know whether we can finish off the quest series that haven't been completed in Old School but have continued in the other RuneScape. Now that is a big ask. The difficulty there is, while we can copy code and rewrite code as necessary, and it would be necessary to rewrite a fair bit of stuff because the engine's different, it's the graphics. If we made, say, Fairy Tale Part 3, well, we've got some fairy kit from Zenaris, but we don't have the ogres, we don't have the teeth, we don't have the tooth fairy, we don't have those crackling overlay cutscenes, we don't have the tooth creatures, we don't have the rift. That's a heck of a lot of stuff we haven't got. Now, sure, we're hiring an artist. We could tell the artist, great, go and copy Fairy Tale Part 3, every graphic as accurately as you can, and if it looks any different, the players will complain at you. But they would then be working for months and months and months for something that in the end is... I'm not sure it's worth having that much cost for that much benefit. I don't see it working for us. There's a lot of things people want, things that would be useful for an artist to work on. New monsters, maybe. Trying to copy an old quest into Old School RuneScape, it's a lot for something that still won't feel the same. So I don't think recreating those quests is a good idea. We could write different quests as endings to them, but then you'd have different lore in different games, and that feels really untidy. If you want the rewards from Fairy Tale 3, like the magic watering can or something, or extra fairy ring codes, or the ability to not use a Drayman staff, I completely understand that. and we'd be very happy to poll ways of unlocking it through some other content. Quest-related content, why not? But nevertheless, something that isn't the original quest it came from in the other RuneScape.
Should we show them our new toys, as it were?
Sure.
Right. As many people know, we have been waiting on a lot of work from the engine team for quite some time now, most notably the route finding update, which was polled March, April, somewhere around that time. I believe it was. It was one of the first polls, maybe not the first poll, second poll. There you go. We've been waiting a long time for that, and we've been, telling you for weeks and weeks and weeks now that engine are very, very busy. We haven't had time, but thankfully we managed to convince Jack Mob, who's in the engine team, to show us some love, and he's actually given us some
love.
It's given us some love, yeah. So we are going to show off something that might not look interesting to you on the face of it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people would appreciate. So let's move over to the in-game cam. Right, so nothing looks particularly special here, except for a few script errors and whatnot. We can ignore those.
And someone's got a potato.
Yes. So what we should do is just jump over to bandos. Nothing special here, really. We'll go in the room. And obviously where you'd usually expect to dance with bandos, run backwards and forwards, really quite annoying. Now, if we just set it up quite nicely, we'll go over here. We notice we run straight to bandos. Or Grador, we just run straight back. We'll try the other side. There is no dancing. No dancing at all. As far as we are concerned, as of maybe an hour ago, the route finding update we've been waiting almost 9 months for has been completed. Jack Mob has finally fixed it for us. This is across all instances of RuneScape, so running towards banks, dancing with NPCs, dancing with the KBD and everything else that you were probably having issues with. This is finally fixed. This was fixed earlier today. Jack Mob himself has done it. He sat down, he said it took him about 4 hours to sort it out. He was in constant communication with both Ash and I, asking us about the triggers and everything, making sure that we couldn't dance with it anymore, there was no more stalemates, and finally he got it fixed. I can see an awful lot of love coming through on the live stream for this. It's, again, doesn't look very interesting, but when you truly understand the frustration of clicking on a boss, dancing around him for about 4 or 5 seconds, it's finally been fixed. So this is something that we're going to give to you as soon as we possibly can, which will possibly be the next update.
I think so. We've got a bit more testing we want to do. The gentleman wants you to spam running in a diagonal to test backwalking. Possibly not in this room necessarily.
I am not actually very proficient at doing that. Let's actually have a look. Actually, no, that won't work anymore. I know why that won't work. The NPC itself won't walk or follow anymore, so that shouldn't actually happen. Backwalking should also be completely destroyed as far as I'm concerned.
And also that bug where you click on an NPC to walk to them, and just as you reach them, you stop and say, I can't reach that. Jack Mob says that should be gone as well.
Yes.
He was a bit puzzled to see why it existed in the first place, but it really did.
So this problem should also be gone. So hopefully this problem, the moonwalking, as Speedbum Zero says, the moonwalking should be gone now. Bosses should not have that problem anymore. So as far as we're concerned, route finding is 99.9% finished. We're going to do a bit of extra testing with it to make sure there's no weird stalemates popping up in game running towards an NPC. We also worked on the following update to make sure that's okay. That's still ongoing.
Yeah.
At the same time, Jack has also delivered us a nice little fix that a lot of people have been complaining about. So obviously you notice Grador's hit bar here. If we get him to red bar, he could still have 10 hit points left. You might see him as a red bar and you might think, next hit I'm going to kill him. You hit a 5 and he's still got a red bar and he's still alive. That's very annoying. So you don't know how much HP he's got left. He is in the process, he might have actually done it. He was in the process of doing it while we were walking down to do this live stream, of making there be at least 1 green pixel present on the HP bar so long as the NPC has some HP. So hopefully you will never actually see a red bar again, and every time you do see a red bar, the NPC would actually be dead at that point.
Yeah.
So that's something else that we've had delivered to us.
And he says he's done it without the bug we got last time the hit bars were worked on, where if you got multiple hits in all at the same time, the hit bar would show your health after the first one had taken effect, but not after all the other ones had taken effect, which meant that it looked like you'd still got plenty of health, but you'd in fact be dead. Didn't go down very well, that bug. So Jackmob's pretty confident we won't get that.
Well, Jackmob at the moment is also working on a particular update for us with the following issue. So obviously if you have run turned on and you follow somebody who has walk turned on, you'll be running backwards and forwards, losing your energy at the same time, and it's all really rather annoying. We don't really have the status of that update yet so far. All we know is it's ongoing, so hopefully this is something else that will be fixed. If not, next update, maybe the next update afterwards. There's no real promise here because we don't know the status of that one. He said it was rather complicated, so we're sitting back and letting him deal with that one.
Is this one for switching items? Or?
Yes. Oh, switching items. This is something that a lot of people have shouted at us wanting RuneTech 5. Obviously, a lot of people wanted RuneTech 5 because they wanted the ability to switch items much faster. Now, RuneTech 5 isn't necessary for that update. We can do that within our current engine. It just needed someone to go and have a look at it. Initially, Mod Phil had a look at it, and he couldn't, or Mod Philip, sorry, and he couldn't exactly see what the problem was.
At first, we were looking for some limit built into the engine saying they've already clicked on 4 things this tick, don't allow any more clicks. And of course, there is not actually a limit like that, so so that he didn't find one. What we found instead, working with Jackmob today, is that when you are clicking fast, if your mouse moves very little bit while you're clicking, it will be interpreted as a drag rather than a click, and the client simply wasn't sending the click request after all. So he's put in something that makes it send it as a click request rather than a drag request.
So what that means is, if you notice, I'm not very good at doing this, if you spam click everything as fast as you can, you'll actually equip everything and not a single item will be left behind. Which means all those requests for RuneTech 5, because you want item switching faster, you don't need RuneTech 5, we've just given it to you.
Yeah.
Everything should be equipped. I missed those dragon boots, that wasn't a result of the bug.
You guys are always much better at the clicking stuff than
yeah, so item switching is now as it should be. Hopefully that will please a lot of the people that were very, very PvP orientated and hated missing an item and hybriding, and obviously that resulted in them losing their items and whatnot. So this is something that has also been delivered to us today by the wonderful Mod Jackmob again. So that's 3 major engine updates that we've been waiting for quite a long time that we now have. There's obviously a few more requests that we've personally asked for development purposes. He is more than happy to help us with those as well, and he is also going to be working on those over the coming days. So whilst those updates might not directly affect you, they will help us out dramatically, meaning we can give you content in a much more efficient way.
Yes, the amount of time we've spent scrolling up and down through great big lists of files trying to check out the one we need from the repository, submit the right one, things like that, it really does add up after a while. Apart from that, we've got a few other requests in something more interesting has come up. It's a rainbow party hat.
Yes, somebody said if they can have a look at it. There's a rainbow party hat. That's what it looks like.
Looks like a rainbow. I think before launch we should make it a little bit brighter, because at the moment it blends in a little bit. All the same, it looks better than I thought it ever would. Some people have asked why is there no yellow when they've seen pictures of it. It does have yellow, it's just that most of the time your face is pointed the wrong way, and yeah, there it goes. It's next to green, orange, where it belongs, like a rainbow.
We could scroll around here and see it, but it's quite hard to see actually because it looks more like the grass, the greeny grass, than it does actually a yellow. But that's something, as you said, we can make it brighter if we need to. So yeah, that I believe was the only real content we had to show, unless there was something else.
Well, you could dig out the Godwall's pets again. It's not like they're going anywhere for a bit, so it'd be nice to see them again just for fun.
Give Zam.
And the new official says Black Pea Hat, please.
We'll give
that.
Give Black Pea Hat.
Yep, here comes your Black Pea Hat.
I can't type at all today.
It's awkward as a programmer.
Yeah, so and here's the mini crucifix off. Although I think a lot of people.
The reason they're shouting the alphabet, by the way, is that I left some code for them to shout random things, and since it was kind of late at night when I was doing this, I didn't put any random things on them, so I just left them shouting the alphabet mostly.
Yeah. So obviously there's a Black Party Hat, there's a mini Kriara. This would have been the God Wars pet. We're going to obviously revisit these later on if people want us to.
Talk to him for a second. Let's see if his jaw's still doing that thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. That might be a bit of a relief if they don't pass their poll, because we might have to work out how to solve that.
Someone said, is there a Bandos pet? Yes, there is a Bandos pet. We'll give Bandos. Obviously, we're not advertising these as... that didn't seem to work. Give Bandos. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there it goes.
I see there's a mini Grador. It looks like we're advertising these, so we're going to do them again.
Well, people ask about them. Here they are.
See, what happens when we talk to... Well, that seems to come out quite well. So,
Nathan Lane wants to know how we show frame rate. For JMods, it's kind of on by default. We can turn it off if we want to. Had a request on the forums today for that to be available for players. Since it's there and the client can do it, I see no reason why we couldn't have it available to players. The thing is, we would have to ask the engine team to make that change because it's them that controls what JMods do and what players do. And asking them for that, I think there's a lot of other things I'd like to ask them for first. Sorry.
Awesome. I believe that's the only real content change we had. Again, there's nothing really exciting on our side, but there are two major game-changing updates that I know a lot of people have been very, very vocal about over the course of the RSOS, Old School RuneScape's history. So we're glad to finally be able to deliver them to you, and we're glad to see them ourselves.
Speaking of delivering them to you, What Never has asked whether the route finding update is out now. The answer is no. This is just our test server where we'll be checking it out for a fair while yet before we put it out to you. But hopefully we'll be able to launch it next week, and then you can play with it as well and stop moonwalking around your favourite monster.
Yes, we're thankful to see that actually, and a lot of thanks should go to my Jackmob for putting in the time to finally get that to us and finally get that to you as well.
Yes, he didn't have to do that. It's an actual favour to you.
Yes.
I guess he likes you.
He knows how much it means to us, so he did finally
begging him.
he did sit there one night and said, "How important is this really?" And I said, "Well, if you ask the entire member base, I can almost guarantee and speak on behalf of every one of them that 98% of them will say we need this now."
Yeah.
That was enough for him to go, right, that's it, that's my priority. So when he came back from university, considering he only finished university today as well, or finished this term of university or something like that. So he finished today, came straight in, got straight on with the update. So a lot of thanks should go his way.
Yes. So, Skiller 600, Skiller 6000 wants to know our opinions on the Grand Exchange and summoning. Well, the Grand Exchange has its uses, but to get it, we would need a lot more engine time than just the few hours we've had from Jackmob today. We'd need to create as a whole stock market server and all the associated commands to let it interface with the game worlds. And we'd also then need to spend a very long time making interfaces for you to interact with it and put the item prices on every item in the entire game. Plus, once it was out, there was a lot of monitoring needed doing to it to adjust prices that weren't going right, things like that. All in all, that's a very large job, and the engine work alone is kind of ruling it out for us at the moment. If we ever had so much engine team time that we could look at that kind of work, then maybe we'd be able to pull it. But for the moment, when we're getting our engine support in the form of odd Jackmob's spare couple of hours in the afternoon, I don't think we can go there. It would just become one of those updates where we pull it and then you guys wait months. And we don't really like operating like that. We prefer to pull things and then be able to deliver them. And I don't think we'll be able to deliver the Grand Exchange in a timely fashion.
Sorry. Skill specs.
He's been tuning in, Matt K.
Skill specs, I'm Hi-Fi, and quite a few other people there have said Bounty Hunter. I'm a big fan of Bounty Hunter. I think I've probably said that every damn live stream actually.
Say it again, it's so cool.
Almost in that order. Bounty Hunter is something I am very personally interested in. I would love to see it back. I would love to be able to give it to you. There's actually a rework version of Bounty Hunter that we're working alongside the idea of the initial Bounty Hunter. That's Mod Oliver and I that's sorting that out. Keep your eyes peeled. That's gone wrong. Look out for Bounty Hunter, basically. It's something for next year, and we're very interested in being able to give that back to you.
It's not the only reason he wanted to be a content developer to write Bounty Hunter for you, but I think it was a fairly big one.
Yeah, I would very much like to be the person working on Bounty Hunter, and I'd love to have be the one to, or be part of the team to give it back to you. So Bounty Hunter is something we're very big on, and I know obviously a lot of people out there as well. So, although we're not very keen on taking up half the wilderness.
Well, we won't have to put it there. We don't have to do great big craters occupying the entire middle of the wilderness.
We don't particularly want to go, here's the wilderness that people will hear and know and love. Let's remove Let's remove 4 map squares of it and turn it into a volcano that you can only access through Bounty Hunter. So,
and another 2 maps worth to put Clan Wars in.
yeah, so we're not keen on doing that. But Bounty Hunter, as you know and love, besides the location, should be with you hopefully next year if people approve of it. So.
So, one of the popular questions that have been coming up is rejoining your Friends Chat channel. And the answer is yes, we know you want it. We would love to do that. The difficulty is you need it to work over logout to remember the chat channel you were in before you logged out. Apparently, the game engine has that information, and all we need is a new command to spit the information out for us so that we can rejoin the chat channel for you. We'd love to do that. Unfortunately for that, engine team is going to need to do a little job for us. Turns out it's not a little job either, because before they can create any new commands, they've got to apparently refactor the script processor. I admit I do not know what that means, but if they say they have to do it, then they have to do it, and apparently it bulks out the job a bit, which is why we couldn't get it fitted into ModJackMob's spare afternoon today. But they know we want it, we know we want it, we keep asking for this kind of thing, and I'm confident that one day we will get it for you, and then the first thing we will do with it is poll the auto-rejoin of chat channels. Okay, another question that's been coming up, although I don't see it at the moment, is when you switch weapons, which you'll be able to do faster after this engine update, it's you have to wait a millisecond before you can click the special attack bar, otherwise it doesn't respond. I think I know what's going on there, and I believe we can get that sorted without involving the engine team, which just requires me to be able to sit down for a day and rewrite the entire combat side interface, and then hope like heck that I diagnose the bug correctly and that is indeed the solution to it. I think it will be though, and I am up for doing it. It's just a fairly big thing, and I haven't had a lot of spare time lately with the agility updates. So yeah, we haven't forgotten about that, and we will try and deal with it. YBTV wants to know, why don't we just get another JMod doing engine updates for Old School? We'd like that.
Don't think we haven't asked for that. We've asked for that an awful lot. We've asked for that just as much as we've asked for a lot of engine issues, because
actually, we've asked for it more than we asked for the QA tester.
Yes, so we have asked for that, but obviously that's a headcount thing. That also comes with budgeting. That's not something we can deal with, and
it's not something we can grant. I mean, one of the ideas that Mod Pips came up with is, hey Ash, why don't you become an engine developer? You do not want me to sit down and retrain from scratch to try and become an engine developer. You get some very rummy engine updates while I was learning. Let's not go there.
Damien133 says, what engine do you use? We use a custom engine called RuneTech, which is an in-house engine. So it's not an engine that would be familiar to anybody outside. So we couldn't really look for external support from anybody.
Yeah, this is the engine that was originally written by Andrew Gower in 2003 when he was preparing for the 2004 RuneScape 2 launch. He wrote the whole thing, and what we've been using ever since is the same thing with a few more features bolted on here and here and here and here, and updated to handle the idea of personal areas or monsters with better AI, things like that. I think RS3 is still using the same engine at the foundations of it. It gets rewritten periodically with these RuneTech updates, but underneath it all, it's the same concept all the way back to Andrew. And it's 2013 now. He may not have been massive on the future-proofing, but it's lasted very well considering.
A lot of people are spamming bank tabs. I know that's something you've been working on in your spare time in my test stream, actually.
Yes. Unfortunately, all we have to show so far is a bank interface that has a block at the top that doesn't actually do anything. But we know you want bank tabs. As I say, I've been trying to do it in my spare time. This is the equivalent of what we get from JackMob, except I don't seem to have a lot of spare time at the moment because I've been spending a fair bit of that in the office, trying to keep on top of the actual work that we have polled, quite apart from the work we haven't polled. But we know bank tabs is a massive ask, and we will try and get it done. It's still uncertain whether we're going to be able to do it without any engine assistance. The other RuneScape has bank tabs, and for that the engine team created them some custom commands that move ranges of items around your inventory, etc. We don't have those. The thing about those commands, though, is that they assume that there are no gaps in the bank, which means that when you withdraw an item, all the other stacks have to shuffle up immediately to fill the gap. And that's not how people like using their banks, really. People have been asking for years for the bank to go back to how it was when you could leave a gap and then put something else in it. and I would like, if possible, to write bank tabs that don't have that behaviour. It is uncertain whether I'm going to be able to pull it off, though. The logic isn't a problem, conceptually. The difficulty is that if the amount of processing we have to do to handle the items in script might end up being so much script that the server says, you must fit an infinite loop by now, get offline. Happens quite often, actually. So it's still uncertain whether we can pull it off without engine support. And if we can't, we'll have to put it on the engine team's queue along with everything else.
HD Beasted said, can we get the Corporal Beast? Actually, Mod Jack Mod was also talking about importing over RS3 models to Old School.
That would help.
That's something that obviously we don't know if it can be done. I would very much like to test it on the Corporal Beast. I'm a huge fan of the Corp Beast.
Yep.
So obviously that's not a confirmation of the Corp Beast coming back, but I would love to test that process of porting over a model from RS3 to Old School, and I'd love to test it on the Corp Beast first, because that'll give me a chance to play around the Corp Beast in my test stream, I guess. And it also gives me a use for my favourite weapon, which is a Zamorak Spear, or Zamarakian Spear.
Someone had a nice idea for updating the Zamorak Spear to be a one-handed weapon rather than two-handed.
Yeah, that would actually give it that would make it really useful for dragons, I guess, because you can just then equip a dragon shield. So yeah, obviously if people want that, let us know.
Yeah, I've got it on the list of future ideas for just to see whether people want it or not. Anyway,
I actually saw somebody, they've been saying it for quite a while now, and I missed it. Somebody said, can we recolour the top part of the dragon chaps, which is green,
yes,
to black? It would mean a lot to them.
we
I guess we could. There it is. Reticle is the one that asked it. I
could.
don't quite know why it would mean a lot to you, but
As long as it isn't like that dude who came up to us at RuneFest and asked every JMod in the room whether we could have changed the grammar of the word bowstring, because this was his big ask, and it was only a little thing, so could we do it? We have not done it.
I know somebody who is very, very anal about that as well, actually. So there seems to be a lot of people out there that like small things like that, which I guess we can change. I mean, that small green band, I'm not entirely sure what it's even. I don't think you can even see it when you're wearing it. It's only visible in the inventory icon, isn't it?
No, I want to know if it's even meant to be there, or whether it's just a bug that we've had since 2004.
We could probably almost assume it's a bug and just run with it. So
it's like changing existing armor models.
Yeah, yeah, we can have a look at that.
There is one question that's been coming up a lot from half a dozen players that I'd like to answer. The new agility courses, why doesn't your run energy keep going down properly when you're doing them? Why does it keep restoring slightly whenever you go over an obstacle? The answer is, with these courses, more so than with other existing courses, you have to do a lot of running. Like in Varrock, when you've climbed up onto the wall at the south end of the city, you then got to run like 30 tiles or so to get to the next thing where you jump across the alleyway. That's a long way, and in Polnivnich it's even worse because you finish the course and you're at the wrong end of the city suddenly. So with a lot of these courses you've got to do some real running back and forth. We could require you to bring energy potions. Thing is, yeah, many of you would bring the energy potions and invest in that kind of thing. I think for a lot of people they might just go for a different course where they don't have such a problem. And so we chose deliberately to make your run energy restore slightly as you go over each obstacle, rather than the more conventional behaviour where your energy is just frozen while you're executing the code. We can change it, but we did do that for your benefit, and we're balancing the needs of the people training on the courses against the needs of people who want to sell energy potions to them. There's a lot of other uses for energy potions in the game, I think, and we didn't need to go massively overboard forcing more courses on you that just made you walk everywhere because you ran out of energy.
Little Mo has been asking a question for a while, actually. Please retweet me that. I've kind of forgotten what it was, which means I haven't done it. So please retweet that to me.
I have been wondering about that.
Yeah, please, if you send a tweet back to me, either DM me if I'm following you, or just tweet me normally. I'll have to have a look into it tomorrow. If you want to retweet it to me tomorrow again, just to make sure I do, go ahead. So I think I might have actually forgotten what that was. But then we've had a lot of things to do with I'm making excuses, but obviously with the update.
So Teapot asks a common question: when's the Slayer update coming out? The answer is in bits and pieces. There's a lot of separate things in there. We've covered this briefly before, but the answer is we're going to start by writing the bit where you can get points, so you can start saving them up, while we busy ourselves writing the things that you want to buy with them. And that way, when we release the rewards, you've got a chance there'll be something for you to spend on them because you've already had a chance to earn your points. I would hope that we can get some of this stuff out before Christmas. Shouldn't be a problem, assuming we can get game updates done. But most of the rest, you should expect it to come in the new year after the New Year's gap. But we'll hopefully be able to give you something soon.
Just got a tweet actually. I believe that's Little Mo reminding me. There you go.
Excellent.
I just see him say DMG. I just felt my phone vibrate, so I shall make sure. I'll even screenshot it so I don't forget. So I'll have a look at that tomorrow.
So Ajax5 says, if you could import models, would you then add heaps of bosses and Slayer monsters from RuneScape 3 into Old School? If you voted for them. And also, we wouldn't just keep spaffing out monster after monster after monster every week. It's good to have a nice balance of updates. Something for player versus monster fans, something for player versus player fans, something for the skillers. Today we did something for even level 3 skillers, that's rare.
We got actually, I got quite a few compliments for that.
Yeah. So, bonus XP weekends. 07scape for the win wants us to talk about bonus XP weekends. I don't like them.
And I know a lot of other people don't. A lot of other people are very hesitant to have any sort of elevated XP gains, whether it be items such as Brawler Gloves, which is why PvP was redesigned or resold to you. Bonus XP weekend, I don't think. I can see a lot of no's coming through. You saying no, you're mimicking what we feel as well. So, I don't think we're going to go ahead with something like that. That damages the integrity of what our game stands for too much. So, we'll steer clear from things like that.
And we don't really have much to benefit from doing it. It may cause a big spike in active players, but why do we need that? So,
I think we'll actually take.
We are coming up to the time.
Yeah, I think we'll take just a few more questions that we haven't already answered or we don't see very often. Any new safe PvP mini games? We're not planning to launch any new mini games. I don't think we're planning to rework and revive some of the existing mini games that would otherwise be considered dead. So we're going to look to do some sort of matchmaking type system, which would allow you to register your interest for a mini game. And obviously, you can go about your daily business without worrying too much about it. And all of a sudden, you might get a message come up saying, "This mini game is about to start. Do you want to join?" And you'll go, "Yes, I really want to start." So we're looking at things like that at the coming.
That's the plan for the next
yeah, we're looking at things like that very, very soon. So I don't think we're looking at introducing any new mini games, but we're very interested in reworking and bringing some life back to existing ones. Things like Trouble Brewing, which I know everybody loves Trouble Brewing. It's just very out of the way. There's a lot of quests between you and playing it. At the same time, when you do get there, there's nobody else there. So we want to make sure that when you do want to go play Trouble Brewing, there's a very good chance that you can play Trouble Brewing. Same with things like Castle Wars. We're interested in the rewards for things like that. We could even add a skirt to it, because obviously it's always traditionally had legs. We could add things like, or a lot of people have asked us for things like halos and maybe additional rewards and recolors, so we're very interested in doing things like that.
There's also a whole bunch of rewards that you used to get from Dungeoneering, that awesome minigame in the other RuneScape.
Skill.
It's a minigame.
Skill.
And we could try and nab those ideas. The Bone Thrush has been asked for quite a few times. Rigor and Augury have been suggested. We don't mind nicking ideas like that and adding them as rewards to minigames that you've got. In the meantime, I see it's now 6 o'clock.
I think we're going to sign off, guys. We've said our piece. Obviously, we're here again next week. Hopefully, Matt will be with us when he's feeling a lot better. So
he's been really quite. We don't want that on our stream.
So again, if you have any other ideas and feedback you want to give us, post it to us on Twitter. I'm at JagXReach. You are?
I'm at JagXAsh.
And obviously Matt is at JagXMattK. Otherwise, get in touch with us on Reddit and our own forums. So
we do keep an eye on those.
And I know he's probably watching again, so I'm going to say it because it's a weekly thing, and obviously this comes out every single week. But AMA on Reddit. Matt is actually in the room. He's laughing at me. So
he stopped coughing there.
So we're going to call it there, guys.
Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.